Hello, lovely, beautiful people. Let's do something different today, but kind of the same, right? From my last video, this one here, I did some analysis of the rear suspension of pivot switch blade, and some people like it. For example, Lucas, he said, awesome video, helped me a lot with designing my own frame. How do you calculate anti-rise and anti-squat in SolidWorks? And here what we're gonna do today. Gonna show you how to do it in SolidWorks. Anyway, but let's start with a little bit of, I'm not saying education, but let's call it a review, shall we? Right, I have an example here, so I'm gonna move it a little bit. Right, so the anti-rise is the line that you take it from this point right here, and then you draw a line across the instant center, which in this case is the same pivot point for single pivot bike, right? And in this case, you just draw the line from here all the way across the instant center, right? This is IC instant center. The steeper the line, the higher anti-rise. So the steeper is going this way, the anti-rise will go up. But if it's slack, it's going down, the anti-rise will go down. Okay, and how to quantify the this angle? We don't know. I don't know, to be honest. But the way most people have done for for the time being is that they kind of know how much the CG, pretend it's CG, okay? The CG of the rider is right here, and then they draw the line, like this, and they draw the line from the contact patch through the axle and go up here, and where it's end up here, this is 100% for anti-rise. Sorry again, not very okay. This line here is 100%, and where the blue line cross with the red line, this one, which is in this case basically it's right here, it's 100%. So it's the same location as the one that crosses CG. So in this case, anti-rise is 100%. So for example, if you make the calculation and the line is crossed right here, for example, it look like this, okay? Then you might say, okay, the anti-rise number is basically is the ratio of this blue line right here, which is definitely shorter than the red line, right? So I make the, sorry again, I don't really like paint, but it's just easy and cheapest and free. So this red line here is 100%, okay? And the blue line right here is definitely shorter. So in here it might be about 75%, let's say that, of the length. So let's say that the blue line, let's say it's 80% long. So in this case, the ratio here is 80%. So, and how do you know the height between the ground right here? How do you know that? This is 1.1 meter from the ground. That is the average number from trail POV video. Okay, so just like Lucas asked me, how do you do it in SolidWorks? Basically, you're gonna draw a bunch of lines like this, and then you're gonna draw the line that represent 100%, and then you use the smart dimension to measure the length. Once you measure the length, you get that number in your mind, your memory, whatsoever you can do. For example, and that number will be 1.1 meter. All right, and then you draw the line that across the instant center, and then what will happen is that you will get the point where it's cross the line right here. So you make the measurement, you get the blue line. So in this case, I make the example this line here, which is less than 100%. I don't know how long, but you make the measurement in SolidWorks, then you take that number, divide it by 1.1 meter, multiply with 100, and then you get the percent of the analyze number. Right? So let me show you how to do it. Right, in here at 0% travel, right, we know that we don't have the line yet, so I'm gonna draw a line. So it's cross the front axle. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna draw a line from the rear contact patch of your tire. Okay, sorry, I'm gonna make sure it's a center line. So I draw it from here. Oh, sorry. So let's pretend it's right here. I'm gonna draw a line which gonna cross the pivot point, or you can just draw to the pivot point directly, and then just drag. You can draw another line. That's it. And then what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna take a point right here, make it where it's crossed. So it's right here where it's across. You can add relation or not, doesn't matter. And then use smart dimension to make a measurement from the point to the reference line right here. So then you get whatever number here. So it's 1118.9. So I will say 1119. So 1119. So I divide it by 1.1 meter. So 1100 millimeter. And then multiply with 100. So you got about 101%. So let's say 100%. In this case, analyze is 101%. And what would be the next interesting thing? So I'm not gonna delete it yet, but anyway, I'm gonna delete them. Okay. The next interesting thing is that when you push the bike into travel, so once is let's say in this case it's 215 and the shock length is 65 travel. So you can see that you might not see well, but anyway, I'm gonna double click here, gonna make it full image, make it a little bit transparent so that you guys can see the linkage better. Right, so what I did before I let me put it back to the zero travel, I make this line here and I draw it from this line to this position. That would be the reference point for the rear tire. So I can move the contact patch. And then I made this one into a block. Why I know that? Because what I want to do is to make this line constant length, so it won't change the length. Alright, and then it will move together with the rear triangle. So once I move the rear triangle, so that's how much the shock travel at full travel 100%. This line will move together, and then you can draw the line from here. You can use center line from here and through the pivot point, and again from the pivot point you can keep drawing just like that, and then make the point and make sure it's across at the intersection. Normally with SolidWorks will automatically make a relation as intersection. Then what you do, smart dimension again and measure it from here like this. So you got 848. So I'm gonna make the calculation. 848 multiply 100 divided by 1100. So you get 77% anti-rise, which makes sense for single pivot bike. Usually the anti-rise number is start with high number and then it's steady reduce. It's going reduce with the increase of travel. So that what we expected. Right, so that's the anti-rise. And what next? That would be the anti-squat. So I'm gonna okay, so you still have the same thing, but what you need to have is a chain. So I make it like this. I probably use this big cock. Alright, just approximation, so whatever. If you want to make it like very close to reality, you can just go with every cassette, but I'm just gonna go with the middle right here, so it's maybe 5th gear. I don't care. Right, so what I'm gonna do, I'm right click right here, make it to block, so it's not gonna change, and I will check if that thing is moved together with the suspension. So I will put 200 maybe, see if it's moved together. Yes, good news, it's moved together. So I undo it. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna make a point right here where the chain gonna leave the chain ring. I fix it right here, and then I make the line. I probably should go for a center line, whatever, and then I will take it from here to the point that I just made. Okay, and as you can see, this point, which is exactly at the intersection, this is the point where the center of your wheel to the instant center. So you draw a line right here. This orange member right here is go across with this center line. So this point right here, then what you need to do, you do the line, you draw the line right here, go to this one, and then you keep drawing this line. It's very high, crazy high, but that's reality, right? And then I make the dot a point right here. Now I measure the height of the point. So it 1572 divided by 1100 multiply 100. So it's 142%, which, you know, is very, very high, but it still makes sense because the smaller the cup, then the line will just going down, and you know, this line, it will just going down, and that's gonna raise the anti-squat. Yep. And let me show you that before I do anything else, I turn it back. I don't know how to, you know, make it back into, you know, let me try it maybe here, maybe. So I honestly, let me honest with you, I don't know how to return it whatsoever. I'm gonna delete it. I'm gonna delete this and this, but you remember where it was. So it's like 142 percent anti-squat, right? I'm gonna do is to imitate the biggest cock, right? And I'm gonna make it into make to block, yes. And I check again if it's moving. 150, yes, it's moved together, right? So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna draw the line right here from the top to the top of the chain ring, and then I make the dot right here where it's, you know, the line between the axle of the rear wheel and the instant center cross each other. So it's approximately here, right? So I draw the same line through this one, and then I keep going, and as you can see, I make the dot again. The previous line was 1572, but the new one, where it would be, new one is 141092. So let's say 1411 divided by this, multiply 1100, so it's 128% of anti-squat. As you can see, anti-squat is kind of reduced with the cock. The bigger the cock, the lower anti-squat, right? So, you know, bike nowadays just decide around this number, like 100 to 130%, because they want to make sure when you go biggest cock and when you sit on your bike at sack, so it roughly about 25 to 30%, right? That kind of travel, you probably still have about 100% anti-squat, so you still can pedal quite efficient. And that's the whole thing about anti-squat. So the same thing apply here. So I'm gonna delete this line right here, and I'm gonna change the travel. So I'm gonna go with let's say you know, full travel with 63 millimeter. I'm gonna go at sack, maybe, because we still pedal at sack, right? So it's 30%. Let's do that. So you see that the rear wheel contact patch has moved up here, and the point is moved right here. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just draw the new line. You know what? I think maybe the dimension, it could be potentially move together. I'm gonna make it driven dimension. Make it driven. So anyway, so at sack, so it's 1352 divided by 1100. So from 128, so it's become 122. Let's say 123. So it's reduced by 5%, so it's still quite high. That's the thing about, single pivot bike. You got like pretty high number and it's still high. Like even you sit down and start pedaling. What I want to try is, can I change the number here? Maybe I put 155. Let's see what number. Yeah, it doesn't work because the dimension is like, it's locked, so it's kind of like move around. So let's not do that. Right, so because I'm not very good SolidWorks user, so I'm just gonna go like what idiot people do, like me. So what I do, I just do it one by one, and what I usually do is to reduce the travel by 10 millimeters. So you see that I have to do it the same thing like 10 times, maybe 12 in some longer travel. And yeah, Lucas, I hope you find the video useful, and you can do your own analysis, okay? And enjoy. And if you do the analysis, please share with me, with other people. That would be great. All right, thanks for watching and take care. See you on the trail. Cheers.